Hello, hello. Welcome to No Logic 24 tournament. This is the second game between Tam and So. Tam has taken the first game, and it is a best of three, so can win twice to advance in the bracket, or Tam can win once in this race to knock So into the lower bracket, and they have begun.
Hi. I have no idea what's going on, so I'm going to be asking a lot of questions. I see we start with boots, which is probably good.
We do. We love starting with boots. It's the only reason we play No Logic. So I think...
Yeah, I do know this one.
Yeah, I want to say that that was a key on the island. We don't usually get small keys when they're that out of the way. There aren't that many keys that are worth spending time on.
Yeah, how valuable is any, like, are there valuable small keys? Like, do you want, say, Swamp Small or something?
Yeah, so I think the best small keys you can find are maybe Tower of Hera and Desert. Swamp Small is conditionally also a really good key. And then there's a bunch of dungeons where you want to have at least one just to make the routing faster, in the same way you would want it for cross keys. Like, Mire is faster with the key. Skullwoods is better. You don't have to lock yourself in. So similar reasons. Small keys mostly do what they do in No Glitches, except that we don't actually need any of them. We can always get around the small key.
Okay, now how does this swim through the wall work?
So they use the diagonal wall to arm a clipping state with the swimming. I don't entirely understand how it works. This is a pretty recent glitch.
Yeah, I get stuck there. I get stuck there when swimming regularly all the time, so there's definitely a way that you're clipping into that wall.
Anyone who's played this game knows that swimming is just jank as heck. So it's almost like surprising that we haven't discovered this sooner because of how jank swimming is. It works pretty much only left and right. There's no like up and down swim clip that we know of, or at least not one that's useful. Tam does get a sword in Waterfall Fairy. Hold that thought. That sword might matter later in terms of we can maybe get that sword twice. But that's not the best location for duping a sword. I don't think people will do that unless it puts them in go mode.
Okay, now is this just like a meta starting route? I see it's like pretty much the same, except I don't think Tam checked the island.
If Tam checked the island, it was very likely done on the way to the Zora's domain using the water walk. It's a little faster to check it then because you're not jumping into the water. You're not doing as many screen transitions. So the opening route is basically like any of the overworld is available right now. Some of it is easier to get than others with nothing, so most runners will start with their opening that they like to do, and then they'll start going to places that are reasonable to do. Like, mountain is a little safer when you have a sword, so we might see an earlier East Death Mountain than usual. You usually want to farm up a bunch of bombs before doing South Shore so you can kill Moldorms and bomb juke into King's Tomb while you're there. People will usually wait for certain items to pick up before going to Kakariko, because when you're in Kakariko, you're also going to Desert, and there's a bunch of glitches you can do in Desert that require something like a bottle or a cane. Thanks to Tam's cropping, we have no idea what's on Lumberjack. I'm going to assume it's nothing and that Aga will not die today, because Aga has yet to die in a No Logic tournament race this year. Or we could watch So, who might have slightly better cropping.
So is Lumberjack Ledge obtainable without killing Aga 1? Like, is there like a major glitch you can do that is not Armos Shake?
So Armos Shake is just doing it without boots. It still requires Aga, but we don't have to climb Castle Tower to reach Aga 1. I don't think we would ever check that if we did. Also, totally couldn't see what was on Lumberjack and So's side either, so the only way we'll know is if they actually get it. Sometimes it's valuable to see the item just so that you know that you won't get it. Like, if it's if it's the Cane of Samaria, you'll probably get it. But if it's something like, I don't know, if it's like a sword or a bottle, then it's good to know that one fewer of those is available.
Yeah,
Or
so
like the mirror.
I'm guessing important items that you want to find early are like that bottle, hookshot, Samaria. Are there any more than that?
Swords.
Swords. Okay.
Yeah, swords are good just for the usual reasons, and they're also a glitching item.
Okay, I'm pulling out the swag hover.
So
I
is
guess
trying.
I guess they don't have bombs, so it's
Whoa.
not swag.
It's an emulator hover. You don't usually go for those when we play on emulator.
Yeah, Tam's a gamer though, so.
So is trying to farm bombs in the Hera lobby. He might get them when he's in like the spiral cave, like Baris, for example.
Okay.
But he just hovers the other direction. GT, very nice. We like the GT big key. The GT big key is not necessarily for GT. It actually opens big key doors while you're in a cave as well. There's a few other keys that do that too, but it's good to have one of those before you go into a place like Cave State Pod.
Yeah, now even though you don't have Pearl, I know you can bunny clip into GT. Is that something that we're gonna see here, or?
Yes. Oh, looks like we lost our tracker. Let me catch up on tracking for a bit. No, other Tom signed up for tracking, and he did warn us that his internet might go out without warning, so...
Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay, so the Graveyard Ledge play, that's a decent place to farm bombs. How important are bombs to this?
Bombs are so important that people will buy the bomb upgrade in almost every seed, sometimes more than once.
Oh, like the Luck Fairy upgrade?
Yes. In fact,
okay.
I think probably like right now, after Tam is finished with South Shore, that they might bomb juke to King's Tomb and then walk out and get the bomb upgrade.
Okay, so since this is key sanity, does it work like speed runs where you can get big keys of one dungeon to work in another dungeon?
In the sense that if you're in the dungeon and then you like clip to another dungeon, the game will check for your original dungeon's key.
Okay.
The keys are always assigned to the dungeon that they are meant to be assigned to. Like in a key sanity fashion, it will say it's the big key of pod. Even if you're like not in pod. We did away with this dungeon key except for now it actually just checks what dungeon the game thinks you're in instead of like the hard-coded way that it was before where it would like assign the wrong key. And that's good because we don't want to find cave state keys like in the cave because they just get eaten. Ooh, bow and hammer in Mini Moldrum Cave.
Okay, so I'm guessing this is that bomb juke you were talking about?
Yep. So Tam is using bombs to get past the transition without triggering it. Oh, stun prizes bombs. That's nice. Bomb upgrade might not matter as much for So. Who knows that?
Okay.
So yeah, you can...
So did Tam just get an item there and we just couldn't see it? Okay.
We couldn't see it. Tam helpfully quick swapped to it so we could see it. It's the mushroom. Not only is Tam buying a bomb upgrade, they're buying 2.
Yeah.
We love bomb upgrades. Tam already has the ability to do overworld conveyor with this item set. Overworld conveyor is a glitch that lets you get into a clipping state in the overworld, and you can do things like get into TR as a bunny and some other things. It's a nice glove. The glove is, like, not super exciting. It's not like a glitch item or anything, but it's a good overworld navigation item, especially if you have Moon Pearl as well. You can get into the Dark World more easily. And it lets you do Ice Palace with the hammer and the glove together. Ice Palace doesn't need glitches. Tam is gonna try to dupe the glove. I'm a little... Okay, so that didn't work because they weren't actually on the edge when they bombed themselves. But also, like, YBA in that direction does really weird things to the screen, and I have not found a way to actually get back into the island from YBAing in that direction. I'm not sure if that's something Tam like knows how to deal with or not.
What? So when you say dupe the glove, you mean you can just collect it twice and get the Titan's mitts?
Yeah, so what Tam was trying to do was change the screen ID by YBAing on the edge, so that when they pick up the glove, it doesn't actually take the glove off of the... It doesn't, like, mark the glove as being collected on the original screen ID.
Okay.
It thinks you're collecting some, like, second other glove, and then when you reload the screen, the original glove is still there. That is such an interesting way to clip down. I've never... Like, it makes sense. That's the same exact clip we do off of Bumper Ledge, but I've never seen anyone use that in that way to either save time or to make the trick a little safer.
Here's another extremely relevant question. Are there any more mad people in the glitch community that do double speed heartbeats, or is it just Tam?
I'm not sure. It might just be Tam. In the glitch community, at least. Tam's refilling their bottle.
Okay, so YBA, that's trying to transition the screen and drinking a potion same frame?
Yep.
Okay. And that just does capital W, capital T weird things?
Yep. In the overworld, it changes your screen ID. If it's a blue potion, it puts you in the flute menu and gives you a fake flute. And in the underworld, it also changes your screen ID, and it also lets you, like, skip rooms.
Okay, and changing screen ID just means that the game thinks you're somewhere else, but you're actually on a different screen.
Yeah. It can also, like, copy data upstream from the screen you're in. So, like, if you were to go into Laser Bridge, for example, and find a sword, you could go into the room above in YBA South, and it'll copy a bunch of closed chest data onto that room and close all the chests again, so you can get the sword twice.
Okay.
And the King of Samaria does a similar thing, but in like a slightly different way. A good question in chat is, why do we also buy the arrow upgrade, which I didn't even notice Tam did. Explains why they have 300 rupees and so has 1,000, but the arrows are really good for certain glitches that use Ancilla. Like, if you've done Fake Flipper with Ancilla, you understand that you can, like, overload stuff. That we can do something beyond overloading, where we can actually get the thing to spawn in an incorrect way. So we can get it to spawn outside of the normal 5 slots, and that can have effects, like overworld conveyor and hook pushing.
Yeah, you can also fix your Ancilla slots with, what is it, 6 arrows?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fix in this case means, like, turn it to 0, or turn it to a known value. We also like to have high values for misslotting, so that's what the mushroom is for. Ideally, we would want the lamp, but the mushroom or the powder can also be used to set the search index to a value that's useful for hook pushing and overworld conveyor.
Alright, I hope we do get to see some hook pushing here, because I saw you messing around with it at SGL last year, and it looks really cool. I kind of want to get a nice explanation on it, but
it feels
I
like
don't really want to send you down a rabbit hole if it's not relevant to the stream.
It feels like magic, for sure. The both runners are in CAC because at this point you have the flute and you have the bottle. It's like everything you want. You want one thing for desert to do some glitches, to go to Thieves Town usually. And you also want the flute. If you have it, you want to have that before CAC so you can actually activate it. So is doing something interesting. I wonder why they're slashing that push. I thought maybe he was going to go get the other items. And then he realized he didn't actually check Maze Race yet. So that's what that was. No, he's going by the I want to get the items in the overworld first philosophy, which is something that some people go for. There are pros and cons. It's a little slower to do it this way, but if you have a certain route plan that takes you out of desert and like puts you in Village of Outcasts, it could be good to do these first because it could save you a return trip to desert. Big Key of Thieves Town also probably changes what So does in desert if he does elect to do a Desert Thieves play. So before he might have gone into... Well, I'll explain it when he does it to see if he actually does it, but you can go to Thieves Attic from desert, and if you have the Desert Big Key, you can continue and kill blind. If you have the Thieves Town Big Key as well, you can steal a key for desert and get a small key back. Just super nice. Ooh, it's a really nice second bottle for So. Tam will have that too. So is really reaping the benefits of doing these checks before desert, because now he has 2 bottles to work with. He can at least have a backup if he fails the YBA, and I think even if he succeeds, there might be uses for that bottle.
So the color of the potion does matter, right? It does. It does different things depending on what color potion you do.
Yeah, there's a type of door and there's a type of potion. And you have to use the right kind of potion with the right kind of doors. So super tile doors and sub-tile doors is what we're talking about. If you've ever played Door Rando, you'd be familiar with those. The ones that take you to new tiles that are shuffled, those are the super tile doors, and the ones that are linked together in a quad are sub-tile doors.
Okay, I've played Door Rando exactly once, and it makes me motion sick, so I can't do it.
That's fair. It does that weird screen movement stuff. Also, So finds Fire Rotting to just do desert, but he's sacrificing the ability to get the warp out, which might change the way he does Thieves Town, if he does do Thieves Town. Cam is just gonna go to Thieves now, I think. Okay, no, he's gonna get... So he's doing Quadrant Glitch here. This is a way to get to Desert right side without the small key. And people don't do this as much anymore because we prefer to just go to Thieves Attic and then clip south. But Tan has other plans while in Thieves Attic. They're not going to clip back down to Desert. They're actually going to do Thieves. So they have to do this first if they don't want to return to Desert.
Yeah, question in chat that I kind of want to know too. So you talked about stealing a key from Desert and then getting it back in Thieves Town. We're probably going to see it here, but can you run through that quickly?
So if Tam won't do this probably because they don't have the big key of Thieves, and So won't do this because they have the Crystal of Desert, which is kind of hard to explain what's going to happen. But when Tam is about to do Thieves, and when they kill Blind, they need to be able to walk back in the dungeon to actually collect the Thieves prize, which means that they need the Thieves Town Big Key door open, or they need to have the Thieves Town Big Key. It turns out that North Big Key doors have a small key door on the other side. You might be familiar with the one that was in TR is removed for rando, so you don't spend an extra small key when you're backtracking in like entrance rando. This one also has one like that, but it's not removed. So you have to take the key that's normally used to get, here where Tam already is, and spend it on the south door. But So wouldn't have to do that if he could just walk in and kill blind and get the warp out, and then go back in with the Thieves' big key. So could actually like collect that key and keep it, and it would be a desert key because that's where he is right now.
Okay.
But he can't do that because he already got the desert crystal. So if he kills blind, he'll just be stuck in the room. If he kills blind with LSD blind, he can walk out of the room, but then he still has to spend that key. So I expect to see an LSD blind from So, and maybe one from Tam, but maybe not, because Tam has that crystal that they can use to warp out.
You know, I did learn LSD blind as like one of the first tricks I learned in this game, just because it looks cool and trippy. But that was 4 years ago at this point. I have no idea how to do it anymore.
It's really easy. You just press select when Link touches the light square. It's not even precise. It's just when your eyeballs see Link in the light, you just press select and it will happen.
Okay, and there's a benefit to that?
The benefit is that it interrupts the door closing, so that when you're done killing blind, you can walk out and not be locked in the room. So is not killing blind here, which makes sense because he has the big key of thieves. So he's doing the route we normally would do if we don't have the desert big, which is to clip back into desert to get these checks without the small key. And you might be wondering, why do I even care about the desert small key if we can do this instead? That door is actually really good for doing glitches that get you to swamp. So it can be useful to have the desert small key even if you already have gotten the items. So Tam gets the silver arrows, the crystal of Desert Palace, and blind defeated. And it's very important to know that this is not the Thieves' Town crystal.
Okay, this is the Desert Palace crystal, and then all Tam has to do is just go back to Blind's room to collect the Thieves' Town dungeon prize.
And Tam will do that after getting some overworld. Not really sure why they don't just do that immediately. There must be some reason. Maybe it's faster to do it this way. Oh, the small key of desert is just here. That's pretty funny. Small key of desert was next to thieves. You don't need 2 small keys of desert for any reason. I mean, unless you want to go deeper in swamp, but nobody really does that.
Okay, so's doing another bomb juke. Where is he trying to go?
This takes you to the Ganon Fall room. And by extension, the pyramid screen. So can get 1 item on the pyramid ledge that would otherwise be pretty difficult to get without the Moon Pearl or Mirror. This is a pretty difficult bomb juke. It's not like the others where you can like move freely in the door. It's a suction door, so is actually attempting to buffer this movement. I've never tried it with buffers. You have to do basically a spin speed timing tap, where you like tap the direction and then pick up the bomb on the next frame. So gives up on it, runs out of bombs.
Yeah, it sounds useful to buffer, but still difficult to hit.
I think buffering probably is just as hard as doing unbuffered, because it's not like you get the input out of the select buffer by holding it. You actually do have to manually press the button.
Doomtap says buffering stinks, so
yeah,
I think I love.
It's like buffering.
I think I love buffering.
If you ever tried like to buffer a hover, it's like that.
Oh yeah,
I tried hover buffer once. I realized it's not actually a buffer. Like it doesn't actually normalize anything. Tam gets a pendant. Okay, this is the Thieves' Town pendant. So blind was not actually required, but there was a bottle here, which is nice. And this did give them access to the screen outside of Thieves' Town without the Moon Pearl.
But importantly, that did give them the desert crystals, so now I don't think they need to do Landbow now, right?
They wouldn't, except we require it in the rules. We require all the crystal bosses be killed because we do want you to actually play the game. It's why we still need Fire Rod and Ice Rod for Trinex, and why we put an extra 1 of each in the pool to make sure that the game is beatable.
I did see that there were 2 Fire Rods, and I just kind of assumed there was a reason for that.
Yes, it's just an item pool change. It's not like a glitch or anything.
It's for if the fire rod's just on Trinex, right? So there can be
we don't want to deal with the double forfeit situation where everyone just full clears the game and finds out that their missing ice rod is just on Trinex the whole time, because that's not fun. You have to play the whole game to find that out. It's also a lot more competitive if people are hitting go mode sooner than just looking for a rod in every seed. Because when people hit go mode sooner, it actually makes the game harder for them in a significant way. It's like, if you think of like spoiler races where people have like 5 hearts and green mail and they're climbing GT, it's the no logic equivalent of that. Now there's LSD blind for tso. Again, that serves a function. It's not just for show. That rhymed.
That did rhyme. Alright, so from a runner perspective, like, Tam's gonna come in here and see there's a fire rod that they could have gotten like 10 minutes ago. Is that gonna change, like, what their plan is?
I think they thought maybe I'll go back to desert and kill Landmo, but also I'll just do it later. Usually we'll be returning there anyway to do swamp, so it's fine to leave it. It's pretty slow to get back up there. But it would have been free to do, and if there was an item on Landmo, then that's a big advantage to tso. We actually did do it.
How many rupees do you usually need for, like, potion buying and bomb buying and stuff like that?
I mean, it depends on the seed. I mean, you can see that tso has spent considerably fewer of them than Tam has, so it also depends a lot on the player. Like, are you the kind of person who will go into the bomb upgrade shop and buy 3 upgrades on the, just immediately? Or are you going to buy them as needed? It's an interesting way to check green pendant. Did I catch that was Swamp Palace green pendant? Okay, well, other Tom caught it, which is what matters. Swamp green pendant means actually we probably won't actually be doing any swamp stuff from desert, because most people will completely avoid swamp if it's a pendant, because it's pretty slow to do and very suboptimal to do without flippers.
Yeah, that's a popular thing in no glitches too. Like, people just avoid pendants like the plague. So. Okay, so Tam's climbing Hera. Is that gonna be like...
This is straightforward. This is just doing Hera.
Yeah, this is just legit. Okay.
I don't think they're gonna do anything weird here. They're just gonna kill Muldorm and go somewhere else. Maybe Pod. They could be doing this to go to Swamp later if they had like a small key and also a reason to, but they have neither of those things, so they're just gonna do this.
Well, I know there's a clip in this lobby room here, but I don't remember where it goes.
It goes to the first floodgate room in Swamp. The one that you skip with Techie Clip. So you only ever see that room in like glitch modes now. It's pretty funny.
Oh, okay.
So, returning to the desert overworld. Trying to remember what they didn't do yet. Maybe it's the shovel. Maybe they got that. Yeah, that's what it is. The shovel must have been in that area.
Oh, weird. Okay. Was that the fake light world thing?
So when they went to Thieves Town, they exited, it looked like Village of Outcasts, and it was Village of Outcasts, but it wasn't actually the Dark World, it was the Light World, which is how they were able to do it without Moon Pearl. But you only get to be in those Dark World screens as long as you stay on that screen. Once you leave it, you're just back in the Light World again. So you get this like weird palette change where it tries to like load the Light World again, but with the Dark World palette, and you get this like blocky texture everywhere. Similar thing happens when you like clip off Death Mountain and it hasn't updated the tile set.
Yeah. It's a cool little change.
Alright, 2 people are cave stating dungeons right now. There's a lot to explain. You've probably seen this. This is in like every speedrun that uses the RMG rule set.
Yeah, Kiki Skip.
Yeah, this is Kiki Skip. You've seen it before. tso is doing a YBA that goes to Ice Palace. So what tso is seeing is I have basically the bare minimum to do Ice Palace. and I'm just gonna do it. I think it's kind of insane, but it is a dungeon. It might be a crystal. Okay, that worked surprisingly well for the floor not actually being ice. Look at that small key of ice. That would have been a small key of this dungeon in the older versions of Rando, and it would have been eaten, but now you actually get the real one. So the rules of Cave State are you start with 255 keys, which displays as nothing on your HUD, and then as soon as you spend one, it goes down to 254. And then if you collect, we don't have to worry about collecting keys in Cave State anymore, but if you did, it would just go up to 99. It wouldn't, like, overflow once you've actually opened the door. And you can also open the big key doors if you have one of the big keys that does that, which they do. The GT big key does that. So I was having a little bit of trouble with the lineup for this Ice Palace lobby clip. There's another would have been a this dungeon key.
Yeah, so I know in the Kiki skip, I think it was one of your videos actually. It's kind of like just hit the pixel and put the bomb on the right pixel. Is the ice slap the same way?
You can just walk to the pixel and ice too. I think there's like a somewhat normalized setup where you like hold up right out of the door. I don't do that version. I do the version So did, which is where you walk to a different pixel that's much easier to see, and then you bonk and throw a bomb. So it's a one direction alignment instead of a 2-direction alignment. It'll give you like the Y coordinate for free, basically. Tam finds mitts in in pod. So is hovering. I guess.
Yeah, hovering.
Going to the fact
bomb
of
jump.
having only 2 bombs.
That
Probably,
seems
yeah.
not ideal.
They might need bombs to get to, depending on how they route, to like get to Pengator Room, or to get to Ice Tea Room. Oh yeah, we're gonna get bombs here. This is stun prize. Actually, if he hammers, he gets the hammer prize. Yeah.
Okay.
He could have gotten
Yeah.
stun prize by killing them normally, but that's okay. You can get stun prize somewhere else. He doesn't. I don't think he actually like needs bombs urgently, and he'll probably just get some by killing Baris anyway. So what Tam's doing is a lot more standard for no logic routing. It's pretty easy to just go into pod and loot the place, and then this glitch that Tam's setting up for is called Statue Drag to Helmasaur, which is a way to get to Helmasaur without any items. Every no logic player learns this glitch because any other way to get to Helmasaur is pretty awful. And even when you have all the items you need to clear pod, this is still usually the fastest way to do it. I think the only way that might be faster is... oops. Tam got stair suck. The only way to do this faster, I think, is like if you're already in the back, you can hook push up. But otherwise, you're pretty much always going to be doing this in every seed that has a pod crystal.
Okay, so they did not successfully do the statue drag, right?
No, this
had
is
to exit.
part of the setup.
Oh, okay.
I don't understand why you have to exit. I just know that when you don't exit, it like doesn't work. So they've stored the statue pulling state, and now they're using it to juke past that transition, and they're going to do a whole bunch of camera manipulation here to transition south into Helmasaur's room. Now, when they take this transition, if they set their camera up right, it will take them into the spike jail in Helmasaur's room, which they have to clip out of by holding diagonal. And then the rest is just fight Helmasaur. Like, the only thing limiting you, just from like starting the seed, is do you have a weapon for phase 2? Because if, other than that, you can do all of Helmasaur with nothing. And there's a speedrun called like Helmasaur RTA where you just come in here with Fighter Sword from EG and then do the statue drag with 3 hearts and kill Helmasaur. It's pretty tough.
Yeah, I think I've seen Meowski do that before.
Of course you have. That's not even the hardest boss RTA. Okay, So has made it to Oh, that was some menuing. So has made it to Cold Stare. Clearly just very comfortable with these low percent bosses. I think probably So plays like Spoiler Pilot in League or something. This is definitely a
I
I
mean,
play Spoiler Pilot play.
not really. I mean, it's 9 hearts and blue mail.
That's true. It is more than I thought because of the blue mail. I would still die here.
Honestly, I probably would. Too.
Let's see what Tam does. And remaining in pod state so that they can do Helmosaur and then do this at the end. Because they're probably going to do... First of all, they don't want to like backtrack out of this room because that's really slow. So you either do this and save and quit, or you do this and you continue on to another door juke that takes you to Hookshot Cave. I think they just don't care about Hookshot Cave right now. Like, they can hover, but I don't think they like aggressively chase hover checks.
Now this is no logic, and hookshot can be in Hookshot Cave. So how do you? Are there just so many routes around it that you don't need to hover to the hookshot, or?
Oh yeah, you don't need it. You don't need Hookshot to be Argus. Myers a pendant. That's good to know. That's all of her information. So yeah, you don't need Hookshot to be Argus because there are ways to get there with a camera unlock and phase Argus before actually killing Puffs. Like, there are several ways to do that. And what else would you need Hookshot for? You don't need it for GT because we don't get to Agatu that way. We usually get there from Turtle Rock by doing some kind of wrong warp. Where you just fall in a pit and land in Aga's arena. So you don't even see Mulorm 2 in most seeds.
Oh, is like the GT door to Agate 2 skip, is that legal?
Yeah, but it's not good. Like, it's slow.
It's not good.
Not
Okay.
useful. Like, it still requires the GT big key, and you have to walk into GT and do it. But there are so many ways to Agatu from TR that you're just gonna... Oh, gosh. Tam is going to skateboard up to Bumper Ledge. That's pretty funny. We saw Doomtap do this in a race not too long ago. I'm not sure if Tam just, like, knows this glitch from doing bootsless speedruns, which are a thing, or if they had to look it up, but... They seem pretty comfortable with it. This is definitely the time to do it. When you see a Tempered Sword up there and you're about to do, like, Skullwoods. You might as well get it now. Also, if they wanted to, they could teleport off of the ledge after collecting the item and get a Super Bunny. And when they have Super Bunny, they can pull that tree and get Link State. Tam knows this from Multiworld.
So if you have Overworld Super Bunny, you maintain it after you jump down?
No. That's why they have to teleport off. So teleporting is different from jumping. It's literally just like move your coordinates to another location.
Yep.
Versus, okay, they didn't succeed. I don't think So knows that trick at all, so I don't expect to see an attempt. However, if you really wanted that sword, you could fake flute and get Link State that way instead, and then clip up there the normal way. Tam's setting up a Death Warp, because when you die in a dungeon and Aga 1 hasn't been defeated yet, you get fake Dark World, and you get to be Link in that screen.
Oh, I did not know.
Oh, So is actually going for the 1-frame clip. Incredible. Okay. I think that's just like resetting the enemies because they're in the way. Like,
wait, so in something like Entrance, when you do the DVR like that, is that also setting up fake Dark World?
Entrance catches fake Dark World. All of the no glitches modes do. However, Dungeon Bunny Revive is a separate glitch that just also puts you, lets you be a Link. But the difference between Dungeon Bunny Revive and fake Dark World is, in fake Dark World, you'll continue being Link when you exit. And Dungeon Bunny Revive, you will revert to Bunny State again because you're not actually in the Dark World.
Right.
No, that's why Entrance players know Bunny Pocket. But like no Logic players, we know it, but we like never have to use it because when do we ever defeat Aghanim in a no Logic seed?
Yeah, you just said that there hasn't been one in your tournament yet, so...
I'm surprised that So is not they gave up on the clip, but also didn't continue to Skull Woods. So it makes me wonder if they're actually going to come back to that with a fake flute and get the sword and then do Skull Woods. Oh yeah, they just have a blue potion, so yeah, he's just gonna go there again, but this time he's going to clip the normal way, make it easy on himself. I do appreciate the effort for both, though.
So I know fake flute is a YBA. How do you what specific YBA is it though?
Overworld blue potion. So that's what So did. Lined up on a screen transition. Now they have Super Bunny from the flute, and if they can make it through here without taking a hit, they can pull that tree. And pulling the tree puts you in link state.
So then you can just clip normally?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, and you don't even need to do the whole shebang? You can just, like, touch the tree and you're in link?
Oh, yeah, you don't actually have to pull the tree, you just have to, like, press A in front of it and go into the grab.
Nice.
And you can clip off of there just to, make it a little safer so you don't get hit by murder-dactyls. So I'm surprised So is going to Skullwoods here and not using the link state. But also not terribly surprised because it is really slow to get back here as a bunny. So what they're doing is they're just saying I'm just going to do the dungeon instead of like trying to be fancy with this link state I got and go all the way to Hype Cave, which could be a colossal waste of time. That's not a dungeon. That might have something good in it. It might have the ice rod or the hook shot, but it's not a dungeon. This is a dungeon. It's also a crystal. I don't think So knows that. I think Tam knows it because they just found all 3 pendants and or their maps. So Tam just knows all the crystals, but So does not know about Thieves Town, so they don't have that info. They're doing this blind.
Tam had the crystal indicator, so I think they found the map somewhere.
So yeah, they might have found the map of Skull. They also just found all the pendants. Like they know where all the pendants are, so once you know that, you don't care about red crystals. You can just mark all the others as crystals and be on your way.
Right, because you can just swim into Pyramid Fairy, right?
You can if you have the Moon Pearl.
Okay.
It's a weird that it requires the Moon Pearl. It's not because of you need to be Link, it's because you need to get a water walk coming out.
Right.
Which means that you can't do it in inverted. Like it's a weird thing that you don't think about until you try it in inverted and it doesn't work.
Is inverted no logic a thing?
It can be. It's harder. And for a lot of reasons. Not just because inverted is harder, but because you don't have certain things like fake Dark World. There's a lot of stuff that just like works different in inverted that makes it harder. And your search space is smaller. Wait. So just die in the dungeon. So was like trying to bunny pocket through, and it should have worked. But I think what they did was they menued the fire rod and tried to use the fire rod.
Yeah,
right?
they didn't. They needed to use a bottle or the book, right?
They had to use the bottle specifically. Bottle or mirror. The book is a weird one because you think that you can use the book as a bunny, but it's not actually using the book when you use the book.
Oh, okay.
I forget what it is. It's like the tablet uses the book. You don't use the book. It's a nuance in the code that wouldn't matter, except it matters for Bunny Pocket.
Yeah, okay.
So Tam is doing a glitch called Stairmaster. Oh, they're both doing it. That's pretty cool. This looks like a YBA, but is not actually a YBA. This is literally just like, I'm trying to move 1 pixel deeper into the door without taking the transition, and using a potion on the same frame will accomplish that. You could tell it wasn't a YBA because it didn't have the YBA effect of doing something different than what the potion would normally do. It just used the potion.
Yeah, you're just trying to clip into the back of East, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This counts as a clip, although we did ban it for HMG by vote, because we didn't want to have to do, like, YBA-like inputs in HMG and make GT free. It does have an unfortunate effect of making you not have to climb GT in speedruns. It's what's interesting is that they're doing different things with their Stairmaster, which means that they have different routes in mind. XO is just killing Armos here. But there's no prize when you kill Armos in K-State. Tam wants to kill Armos in Eastern State, so they're going to walk back in and do it.
Okay, how do you get around the big key, though?
So, remember how I talked about how big key doors are small key doors? Like
on the other side,
yeah. So they have cave state of the dungeon and walk backwards through that room and it opened the door for them. It's the only big key door in the dungeon.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's not the only big key door in the dungeon. There is one more. It's in the big key area, but it's not required for the dungeon.
And since you have 1 million keys in cave state, it doesn't really cost anything to open those doors.
Oh, sorry. I think maybe our tracker lost internet while this was happening, and I actually don't remember either. I remember seeing So do kill blind, but what I don't remember is, did he also collect the pendant? Because if
I remember the LSD blind. I don't remember.
Yeah, because I know we don't typically, like, no logic trackers know to not do this. We don't mark the dungeon as complete until both the goal and the prize are complete. So if he only did blind, it's correct that, you know, it's not marked in the tracker. It also means that So doesn't have the info. I just want to know if, like, So has the info or not. Oh, both of them got red mail, which is not desirable. We don't like red mail in No Logic because we like to death warp a lot.
Yeah, especially with no mirror.
Blue mail can be nice. Okay, so has interesting Thieves Town pendant knowledge marked on their tracker, but doesn't have it. So I guess he must have known it was a pendant. Maybe he, like, walked back in and saw the P and was like, I'm not gonna actually do it. So that's good, because it means that he should know. I think maybe he knows about Meyer. It depends on whether he checked his map or not. Maybe if the Meyer map was in pod, he might not have it. But it's good to have that info, because you want to know if you have to do the hard dungeons, which happen to be Swamp and Mire. The other dungeon you would want to know about is Turtle Rock, because it requires the Ice Rod, and they don't have that. That does mean that they're comfortably not in go mode. So they can freely open chests without feeling guilty about it. Oh, the lamp is here.
That's good.
So might not know about Meyer, and besides just not being on his tracker, I also, like, the way he routed Eastern was a very I don't know what Meyer is, or I think Meyer might be a crystal route, because what he's probably intending to do is maybe, like, get the Eastern prize here on Vitreous. I don't know.
Okay, now we see that this is a crystal. Does that mean that Meyer is a crystal, or does that mean the Eastern is a crystal?
It means Eastern is a crystal.
Okay.
I don't think he can actually kill the boss here. I don't think he has enough potions. He could get the Eastern Crystal by clipping Tahara, though. Just collecting it from the Moldorm room. That would be a pretty roundabout way to get there, but it does get these checks, which are checks that Tam probably will never get. If the Ice Rod is here, that could be huge for So. Oh, trying to optimize the block push. Gotta love it.
I resemble that remark. I do that way too much in NMG.
Yeah, shoutouts to the Swamp Palace, like, left side floodgate switch.
Okay, so Tam's just coming in here to kill Landmo, and then is there like another play that they're gonna make in here, or is this just kill a boss, get progression?
This is kill a boss, and I think he will even. They will just like get the boss and then save and quit out because I think they already have the prize, so they're not going to get the warp, which means they wouldn't be able to do anything in the overworld here without just backtracking or walking out and death warping on the Igor. Thankfully, there's a weird property where the game will. Oh, this isn't good. I have to explain what So is doing in a bit, but So had failed at what they're doing anyway. Does he just have one more bottle than I think? Because he that's a 2-bottle glitch, and he used one of them to get to Eastern.
Yeah, I think So has 3 bottles.
Okay, so if So has 3 bottles, that made more sense. However, he didn't do it right. You can spin YB this?
Guess not.
There was a spin YBA. Normally you do a glitch in there called Spin Samaria that takes you to Turtle Rock. The spin YBA did not seem to have that effect. I think what it did do though probably was resurrect Landmo, but there's no reason to actually do that since it wasn't an item you can collect twice. We already have 2 fire rods, we don't need a 3rd.
How would you even hold a 3rd fire rod? Like, I get the double rod so you can, like, dual wield versus Cold Stare or something, but...
Probably in a way that's not fire safe. I don't know. Why didn't you ask your neighbors who light fireworks on... like, before sundown on the 4th of July?
If you're hearing fireworks, that's the official E-Town fireworks. So
for the record, I can't actually hear any fireworks in this stream. But I'm sure we can all of us Americans can relate to the sound of car alarms on a Thursday night before work. It's great. So this is I'm trying to think of what So is doing. It looks like just another attempt at Mire. So this is like a 3-bottle solution to Mire, which unfortunately is a pendant. One thing I'm surprised that what he doesn't do is walk out and gamble that the medallion is one of the 2 that he has, so that when he does do Mire, he'll actually get the Mire prize. Oh, I know why. It's because he gets the Eastern prize here. He gets the Eastern prize and it warps him out, and then he can see the medallion and walk back in if he needs it. If he doesn't have the medallion, he would have to solve it a different way, but in reality, he'll probably by then find out that it's not needed. Tam is just blazing through this seed at like lightning pace.
Yeah, kind of just doing Ice Palace legit here. Is there like a point in no logic where you just say, all right, heck with all these glitches, I'm just gonna start doing actually doing the game as intended?
We do try to prioritize things that are faster and easier. But if we have dungeons we can do legit, we will often do them first because the glitches are hard and resource intensive. Okay. Unless the glitch is hood pushing, which is usually like resource intensive, but also like saves time if you use it right. So last time So attempted this, what he did wrong was he backed out the wrong amount and despawned the room. He has to back out a very precise amount. I always have to look it up.
Okay, and since that's a kill room, then that just means you're stuck there.
Well, the consequence, yes, that's true, but also, Vitreous just won't be there. Like, you do need Vitreous to be there.
Oh, it despawns the whole thing.
Yeah, like, there's no more sprites. So, when he goes here, you can do the Spin YBA that will take him to Vitreous. Spin YBA, by the way, is a YBA with some extra distance added by the sword. It's like corrupting it twice, I think. He does need to drink... Yeah, he needs to be able to actually drink the potion, which is probably why that failed. I'm sad that this is not going to work out, i.e. that it's not the crystal, but maybe it'll be an ice rod, which would be super cool for So. Tam is about to get their last. They did Eastern, right? Did we see them actually get the prize of Eastern?
I don't think they got the prize. I think
you think they just walked out and didn't actually kill. So dual crystals, but one of them is not the Maya crystal. That's the Eastern crystal. So yeah, so got a hook shot. That's a really good thing to spike from a pendant boss. You go from feeling bad about it to feeling like, actually, my opponent's never gonna find this, and maybe I have a chance.
Okay, so are we just on an ice rod hunt? Is that what's happening here?
Tam's on an ice rod hunt. So is still working on crystals, but also is not in go mode, so continuing to open chests. You know, I wonder if Tam didn't go back into Eastern because they're hoping that hook pushing shows up. And if they have like the right kind of hook pushing, they can go mode Eastern a lot faster. Okay, they just did it. Never mind. So Tam is literally just. I just need to find the ice rod now, and that sucks.
Oh, I remember learning this for OWG.
Yes, except the way Tam is doing it is not legal in OWG. This is overworld conveyor. That's why Tam is like moving in weird diagonals. Yeah. They have done some mislock glitch that changes their movement to like be like on a conveyor all the time, going down. And you can use this to get clipping state to get to laser bridge.
Yeah, you just auto walk to everywhere.
Yeah, all right. But only north and south. It's like the opposite of swim clipping, which is only east and west. The purpose of that is they can't. If they were to like clip here with the mirror or whatever, they would hit that bomb wall and not be able to escape. But because they have the clipping state from the overworld conveyor, they can convey past the bomb wall and then wrap the screen and death warp on the pit. Yeah, so killed Armos in cave state and then also collected the Eastern crystal. So that's why it's only now being marked on the tracker. So has a lot of catching up to do to even get to the point where he's searching for an ice rod, but he also has better tools for it. Apparently, so like checked the map and saw that it was a pendant after killing Vidi. At least he won't waste time like getting the prize.
Wait, so did So just hover that? And
yes.
It was just, I've never seen it hovered that way.
Have you not watched Airy run NMG in the last like year?
He lines it up differently.
Oh, you mean in that specific way?
Yeah.
It might be different if you're in cave state because you don't have to worry about the falling bridge.
Yeah, he did like a swoop into the rail clip.
Oh, does Airy not do that?
No, Airy kind of does just a straight rail clip.
Interesting. They're both insane, but well, this looks like a GT play for Tam. This is a good place to go when you've run out of places to go. It's very dense. When you have the like hammer, you can do all the checks. Except for the right side. I don't think Tam is a good solution to the right side. There might be some multi-bottle solutions, but I think Tam only has one bottle, maybe two.
So do you know approximately how many, like how often No Logic just completes without the pearl, or is it just hard required?
Oh, the pearl is straight up not required. It's very skippable.
I figured that it wasn't.
You've already seen like a good number of ways to get around it. One of them is you can just like walk there as a bunny and pick it up. But for the things that you can't do that for, like you know, certain places where you need to like walk in and bomb a wall or something, you can do the fake flute and get a link state, and you can do that as many times as you want. for any underworld location. It's like really nothing that requires Moon Pearl, except maybe like Pyramid Fairy could be a problem if you don't get either the Moon Pearl or the mirror. But you're not... Nothing's going to be locked in there and also locking the mirror and Moon Pearl. And then also, like, be the only thing that you need. It's not going to happen. Most seeds are just going to give you one of those or give you the item you need.
Okay, so GT is dense and like it is in any key sanity seed, but is there a reason that both runners have been dodging it this whole seed?
It's not required. We do have to kill Agatu, but we don't have to do it in GT. It's not like the other dungeons where you have to like go into the dungeon state to get the crystal. Because GT doesn't have a crystal, we allow Agatu to be defeated in any state, which means that usually that is going to be Turtle Rock. It's much faster to just like wrong warp there than it is to do any kind of like GT climb. So going for another insane hover.
Yeah, and like the way that So is hovering is also like unorthodox to me. It looks like
Ice Rod.
It looks closer to a turbo controller than like you normally see with a regular hover, but like you can still tell it's being...
Yeah, you mean like you don't see the boots dust?
You don't see Link's feet moving.
That's probably a speed thing, like, because you don't have to go fast to hover, but some people might do it anyway. And I think if you go really fast, it will, like, hide Link's animations and not kick up boots dust. The people who are doing slow hovers will have a lot more of that, like, boot sounds and boots dust, and looks like Link is, like, you know, a Looney Tunes character on the cliff edge. Tam being on go mode now, it's going to be really hard for So to catch up at this point, even with the hook shot. Because, like, he hasn't done Skull, and he hasn't done, you know, he hasn't found the Ice Rod. The hook shot doesn't really, like, help him get the Ice Rod at this point. Yeah, it'll be slightly better to go into GT and not have to bomb jump, but that's the only thing that Tam has even, like, cared about having a hook shot for it in this seed. Tam's gonna do the overworld conveyor again to get back to Laser Bridge.
Yeah.
This time they don't need to be facing up for it, which makes the trick a lot easier. They only needed to be facing up the first time because they needed to keep clipping state going into the door. But as you can see now, their door's already open, they can just walk in. Oh no, So is not getting statue drag, and it's... Yeah, like, the fact that they're pressing A and just doing normal A things is a sign that the setup isn't working, and it's probably because they're, according to, like, checks in chat, he's, like, touching the statue, facing the statue, and it's pretty important that you don't do that because it will disarm the state.
Oh... So you can't touch the statue, you just have to go behind it and drag it like that?
So after it's armed, this is like a storage of the statue dragging state. So it has to not be facing the statue. So don't like push... Don't push it the normal way. Like that's why they hold their sword out. But you can also just like diagonal into it and it'll look like you go into the animation, but you don't. So also is doing a thing where I don't understand this, but you can fix it by going north, but there's a nuance to it that I don't know. So I always just exit the dungeon because that always works and is free. It just takes a little longer. So is doing the north transition and also seems to not know the nuance to it and is failing the drag as a result. Jack says there's no nuance. I don't know. it just doesn't work half the time. So unless, you know, clearly there's some nuance, because otherwise it would just work all the time. Like, yeah, if chat can't figure out why So is failing, then So should probably just be, like, exiting out the south door. Anyway, Tam has done all the dungeons, just has to kill Agatu, which is not... it's not trivial. I think they had to buy another potion. And then go back to Turtle Rock. So, Chucks, I would like to know, like, why are we facing the statue at all? Is there a problem? Like, is the statue, like, literally you can't be, like, walking in the direction of the statue, or...? You don't touch the statue on the way out. I don't know. We'll have to take this to Discord later. I still don't understand it. But Tam is doing another overworld conveyor to get to Aga.
Yeah, so Tam is gonna go into TR to get to Aga 2, right?
Yes.
That's a fun little bouncing bomb animation.
Okay, Tam is resetting to get resources back. This is a really good time to have the lamp, because if they didn't have the lamp, they would have to do mushroom index, which is kind of annoying. Mushroom index means you have to set the index once, and then you get one try, and you have to set the index again if it fails. And the index is set usually near Link's house. Okay, so I guess what Chex is saying is that what So is attempting to do with this north door is just putting him close to the statue in a way that doesn't work. It's like making him face the statue or get nudged into the statue in a way that disarms the state. So it's not actually the door that's the problem, it's just the direction you're moving. Happens to not work nicely with the statue. So that if you are doing it that way, you have to be aware of the statue. I love the sprite so much.
So why are we hugging Lionels? Are we setting up a death warp for something?
Tam wants to be in Link State here.
Oh, okay.
And Fake Dark World. Tam will get Fake Dark World and then kill Aga 2 and then land on the pyramid and still be Link. Which, they would be Link anyway, because pyramid doesn't change your world. It doesn't do a bunny check. Even if you are in the Dark World. Oh yeah. That's actually kind of an important hover. Tam could have gone... Ooh, the cane is here. This would be really good for So if Tam wasn't just about to finish the game. It's bomb jumpable, but the bomb jump is annoying. I always have to look up the queue every time. It's not intuitive where you jump. Even though there's a million pixels that work, they're not like next to each other and they're not lined up with anything in the room, so you just have to know them.
This certainly is an Aga palette.
I mean, you all know I'm not hovering that. Every time I have to do that, I pull up the guide for the bomb jump while I'm clipping there. Yeah, the other way to get around that is to just like kill pokies. If you have the big key of TR, you can kill pokies and navigate normally. If you don't have the big key, then you do have to do the bomb jump or the hover in YBA in that door to skip the big key door. So is returning to something. I guess we haven't checked Bombo's tablet. Maybe just got the book. The Ether tablet. Is Quake. Tam checked that earlier. Oh, that's true. That Tam had a chance to get a sword at the last minute. Tam also, if they really wanted a sword, could have just gotten the bumper ledge sword with the fake flute. But with silver arrows already in hand, it's unlikely to save time. Okay, it's pretty important for Tam that they don't die here, because if they die here, getting back to Ganon will require some kind of glitch to get here in Lean State. That's why we're just going to pull out the cape, make this a little safer, and also just get through Phase 2 faster. You don't want to spend too much time in Phase 2 when you're in danger. I'm going to assume Tam just has a potion. Yeah, okay, we're good.
One of the rare times we see a potion used for its intended purpose.
I imagine Tam knows that they're ahead here. I think Tam hasn't really done anything that I can imagine would make them feel like they're behind. They've pretty much done everything in the right order and found everything they needed, and the only thing that they missed out on was the sword that they tried to get and the time that they spent trying to get it. And they don't even know that, so was also doing the same exact thing.
Yeah, I mean, 111 seems super quick for like a full keys seed.
Yeah, that's
like,
just Thursday for Tam though.
Yeah.
Oh
no.
Okay. The good news is falling to Ganon is fine. Because you're in Fake Dark World, you are actually still Link when you come out. Not that they did, but if they had fallen, it would have been fine. Better than dying.
Alright.
That was almost a really cool, like, setup for a double or triple. Probably not a triple with Master.
GG, Tam.
GG. Nicely done. My experience with racing Tam is that they just finish the game with half the items that I have, and I always wonder how they do it. So getting to see like actually how it's done is pretty useful. I think what we saw is that Tam focused crystals really hard. And
yeah, I did notice they were routing dungeons a lot more aggressively.
And when they were in Ice Rod Go mode and had all 6 crystals, they went to the really dense locations, started prioritizing hard.
Yeah.
So spent a little bit more time like doing other checks, and a little bit of time was just like struggling with glitches, like statue drag. But most of that I think was just Tam's routing being very efficient.
Okay, so you're in brackets, and Tam just won their second game, so they move on. Oh, hi Tam.
Yep. GG Tam.
Alright, thanks. I did not feel particularly good about that race.
Oh, we thought you would have. I'm trying to think of like where you went wrong that would have made you feel behind. One thing that I'm seeing is that Zora had an Ice Rod, according to your credits. So Ice Rod on Zora is a very swingy location because most people won't do that, and you and So were no exception.
I wasn't really feeling behind necessarily, just frustrated about how I was playing. Like, I knew I had a pretty good route, but some of those failures were kind of adding up.
Other than trying to get the sword on Bumper Ledge, which is like not a common glitch to do, like was there anything else you were having trouble with?
I messed up Stairmaster to Eastern twice.
Oh,
Well, I messed up 2 YBAs in one attempt, which was really annoying.
That is annoying.
The conveyor attempts at the end were frustrating.
Right, the
I had
end
to be
conveyors.
careful because I had no arrows. But once I failed and had 6 arrows, I should have just gone and done a water conveyor or something.
I think it was fine to go and just reset. But it was easy for me to say when I knew how ahead you were at the time. So was still looking for Ice Rod and still completing dungeons. One of the things that set them behind is he did do Mire from Eastern, apparently not knowing it was a pendant, and actually spiked a hookshot there and then found a cane at Hookshot Cave, but by then it was far too late. You were just clearing crystals.
Yeah, I did skip a lot. Like, I didn't go to do Total Power after Pod, which normally I would always do, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, if you could pull off hovers, I think the cane was a hover chest.
Yeah.
I saw you
I pulled
hovering
off
earlier.
some of the meaningless hovers, but I failed the one in GT, which was the shorter one. No, I'm not a very good hoverer, so I was surprised that I successfully did the Spectacle Rock one.
Yeah, I mean, you're on emulator, so you probably have some things working against you as well, but that aren't really your fault. I know a lot of issues with emulator hover are controller related, like whether your controller is actually like sending the inputs all the time.
It's also emulator related in that the emulator can't accept a certain amount of inputs in the correct amount of time. So
So your next opponent will be the winner of Duden and Mr. Beyer.
Yeah, that's... No matter who wins that, it's going to be tough. It's been not that this match was also tough. It's a very loaded tournament, actually. People are getting so good at no logic.
It's true. I will always quote this forever. That JD said earlier that no runner in this tournament can afford to underestimate their opponent.
Really, yeah.
We've already seen a few upsets where a lower seed beat a higher seed, like just from the get-go, and then now we really can't predict any of the matchups. A lot of them going to game 3. We had a tie today. I had to retime. That's how it is in this tournament. You can never rest. We used to be able to say like, oh, you can have a couple disasters. Your opponent's probably having disasters too. The more we do this, the harder it is to say that. Because you can just race your opponent and they have no disasters.
One of the trends I've noticed in the pickup races that we do is that a 1x time is very frequently not even good enough to win. You have to be so fast.
You have to sub hour now.
Yeah.
What happened my series against Czechs is that we one of us was always getting a 103 and it wasn't enough. The 103 was the losing time in 2 of our races.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. Oh, it's great. I love how good everyone has gotten and how many new ways of doing things people are figuring out.
And we are joined as well by GG.
GG's.
GG. I have no relevant questions because I have no idea what's going on. But GG.
Well, yeah, go ahead. Do you want to know where your ice shard was?
Yeah, I talked with them on the Brazilian restream. They said that was in Random Room. GT was my next play because I was going out of options from progression since I did every pendant except Swamp. But I made some mistakes throughout the seed, so some of them I'm quite confused because my statue drag attempt, I have no clue why it didn't work the 5 times.
We were trying to figure it out too. Chex knows the reason, and I finally was able to get an answer out of him that I understood. Apparently, when you go into that north door to do the setup, you have to be careful about how you interact with the statue. Because apparently it's possible to get a statue push there that disarms you, even if it doesn't look like you're facing the statue.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We will all have to go into Discord together and figure out what that means.
Yeah,
Because it doesn't look like you're facing the statue, and I don't really know when that break occurs, but apparently it does, and that's the thing that breaks it when you try to go
Yeah,
north. It's not actually the door.
that's funny because I always reloaded the dungeon because that's how I learned because of the I think on the RBO old route, and I saw someone doing the north transition once on the race, and I was
Why
okay,
doesn't
yeah,
everyone do that?
yeah.
Apparently,
Everyone does it, and
the
it's
trick is
faster. So
everyone tries to go facing down because that's what they're used to doing to exit. Apparently, if you're facing down and you go up, there will be like a frame where you're pushing the statue as you disconnect from it. So you just have to be facing up to
okay.
push the statue instead, and then it should just work. So thanks, Chex. I will start doing that, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna check the bot to double check that, and that Meyer to Aga YB2 cost me way too much time.
That's true. Because it was a pendant and you had to do it twice, but at least I had a hook shot. It's something you knew probably knew Tam was never gonna find.
Yeah, was a hook shot, but
Was it enough?
Yeah, my index setup just came by right at the end of the seed, but it was a pretty hard match. I tried to do some different routing that I'm comfortably do usually on my when I played. I tried to rush the ice palace. I tried to do some stuff here and there to try to find something, but the dice rod and the lamp was way to hit and deceive.
Yeah, it would have been a very interesting race if the Vitreous had actually dropped an ice rod instead of a hook shot. But
Yeah.
also, maybe less interesting for Tam, who would have just been on a worse ice rod hunt.
Yeah, that's part of random. That's not much things we can do. But GG to Tam was a pretty hard matchup for me, and now I'm hoping for a Brazilian match on the lower.
Yeah.
If Gabriel,
I was looking at that and seeing, oh,
Yeah.
Gabriel J. Campos is there racing
Yeah,
Dot. Who
yeah,
just got pushed, just advanced into that match. I don't know who to root for. I mentored Gabriel in one of the mentor tournament races for No Logic, and Dot was just like a old glitch hunter who decided to start actually playing the game in the last year. So we have a lot to be thankful for because Dot has discovered a couple things that are awesome and make our lives easier. So it's hard to see that, like, when you look at the lower bracket matches, that some of them have to leave, and that's sad, but at the same time, we do get to see a lot of races from them before that happens. And there's always another tournament next year for HMG and 2 years from now for No Logic. So with that, that'll be it for tonight. Lots of races tomorrow. The first one being at 10 a.m. with Trace Fire versus Prie. And also I recommend, I don't usually plug things that are outside of SpeedGaming, but GDQ is doing a Link to the Past speedrun tomorrow morning that is even glitchier than this, and it's called Swordless. And if you haven't seen A Link to the Past with most glitches allowed, I highly recommend checking that out.
Yeah, that one's not being done by a dog though, so I don't know if.
No, it's being done by a frog named Glan.
It is being done by a frog instead.
So, I'll see you there for tomorrow's races. There's also more of them later that day. There's Simple Clips versus Muffins as well, and then JD Silvergun versus Doom Tap. So thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.
Bye.